Legs, it's been a tough 24 hours for us here in Denver, here in Colorado. Nikola Jokic goes down the other night, and initially it looked really scary. Find out he's going to be out at least 4 weeks with a hyperextended knee. Initially, my thoughts were, wow, this could be really bad. Then I see the news. Okay, sigh of relief. Then reality kind of sets in for me, and I think all of us, and it's like, man, we're going to be without Nikola Jokic for the next month and a half. This could get really rough. What are just your general thoughts? What was your instant reaction to seeing Joker go down, and then where kind of Denver goes from here?
Well, I think initially, first of all, let me just say I unfortunately have become really good at predicting these injuries, like what they are once I watch the play.
Yeah.
Part of it is because I learned so much about the anatomy of the knee because I've torn both. So I tore my 3 ligaments in my right knee when I was playing. I tore 2 ligaments in my left knee when I got done playing and was trying to make a comeback to the league. And just learning about like what the motion is that makes that ACL tear, and looking at that, I thought he tore his ACL. I was surprised. Yep. I was wrong. I was very, very grateful I was wrong, because how much the guy means to the league, how much he means to the competition in the Western Conference, and the overall chances of taking on a team like OKC. It's important for the league to have him. So first of all, I'm relieved I was wrong, and obviously devastated. But man, oh man, when I heard it wasn't the relief, and I understand if you're like a Nuggets fan, you and I were just talking about this before we came on. Like if you're a Nuggets fan, your initial reaction is, oh my God. Then it's like, phew, oh my gosh, thank God. That could have been a lot worse. And then it's the sobering reality that we're not going to have this guy for the next month. We got 7 out of 9 coming up on the road. You name it. We're in third. Like, where are we going to be when he gets back? Like, I understand the doomsday mentality. I would be much more on the glass half full, because here's the reality. Let's say it is a month or slightly more. Let's say he comes back February 1st. Misses the whole month of January. It would be like more than 4 weeks. Let's say he comes back in that time frame, and you have gone from 3rd place in the West to 7th in the West. Here's the thing. You're not going to be like 7th in the West with like a 6-game gap to get back to 3rd. You're going to have like a 3-game gap. Okay, so it's doable. And you're getting Jokic back with 2.5 months to play to make up some of that ground. By the way, by the time he comes back, you're going to have other guys back that weren't playing just now. Aaron Gordon, Christian Brown at the top of the list. Cam Johnson will be around that time as well. Mm-hmm. You might actually have now this 2.5-month run with everybody healthy to find your rhythm and find out who they are, and still make up that ground to host a home court series in the first round. So that's how I would look at it. The guy to be this deep into his career, never having dealt with a knee injury like this, is a relief. Take the 4 weeks. It's going to be a tough run without question, especially with these other injuries. But the good news is there is much, much better days coming this season, only maybe a month away. And that's how I would look at it if I were a Nuggets fan.
Yeah, I think it's a good point. And you just also look back at Jokic's career. I mean, especially in an era where everybody's hurt, everybody misses time. I mean, right now, in this point, you got most of the top contenders for MVP other than SGA not even going to be eligible for the end of season rewards and not hitting 65 games. Jokic has been a symbol of availability and just like a symbol of durability in this era. And you look back on it, and I think the most games he's ever missed in a row was 7 with an ankle injury back in 2016-17. This guy just doesn't get hurt. He plays through stuff you never hear about. And I do like your perspective that the Nuggets, should feel fortunate. And then you look ahead to when he could come back. If the Nuggets stay afloat, if they stay above water, if they stay in contention in the West, he does have, I guess, a month and a half off, maybe potentially, come back, recharged, refreshed, rejuvenated, and then Nuggets could get this starting 5 back together for the last couple months of the season. And if things go okay over this next stretch, I don't even want to call it a blessing in disguise, because it's not that. It's definitely not that. But they can be whole again when it matters most, as long as they stay afloat here in this stretch.
They can. And look, you have to look at the reality of the rest of the Western Conference. Obviously, Oklahoma City is what they are. They're going to be the 1 seed. They got this team now that is out there lurking in the San Antonio Spurs that's really changed our perspective on OKC, just in terms of the invincibility factor of this team. And, is this now a team that you go legitimately could beat them? At least now that thought is out there.
Yep.
Spurs very likely end up the 2 seed. Okay. But here's the thing. Look at these other teams you're talking about in the West. Houston, the Lakers, Minnesota, Phoenix. Like those are the next 4 teams. There's been a lot of inconsistency with those teams. Phoenix, probably less inconsistency because I think for me, that's been one of the great stories in the Western Conference, like their turnaround. But that's not a team that's all of a sudden going to, win, 18 out of 20 games or something. Like they're 19-13, and they're going to probably continue to play at about that rate, maybe even take a little bit of a dip back. But those other 3, Houston, the Lakers, and Timberwolves, all of those teams have had really inconsistent stretches. Mm-hmm. So That's my point. Maybe the Nuggets can't get 2, which was very likely. They were going to be right there with the Spurs probably for the 2 seed all year. All right, maybe let's just say, hypothetically, that's out of question because San Antonio continues to play really well. Denver drops back. I still think 3 is going to be very much within reach, really, in probably a period of a month or so. They're going to be able to make up that ground because I don't see Houston, Lakers, or Minnesota going on some 10-game winning streak and then clearly separating themselves from everybody else to where now the best Denver could get would be 4, which would mean OKC in the second round. I think the hope is still there. This is a tough break, but it's coming. Hey, look, it could be a lot worse. What if not only could it have been longer, what if this was March 15th?
Right.
Okay, so Think about that. The timing of it. There's plenty of time for him to miss a month and still have 30-something games left on the tail end of the season.
Yeah.
So that's how I would look at it.
I think it's valid for sure. And, I mean, if you just think about where the Nuggets go from here, Jamal Murray seems like he's on track for his first All-Star game of his career. I mean, he's having a career season, career highs in points and efficiency. His efficiency has gone up, while his volume has gone up this season. He's been incredible. And if you're the Nuggets, what I've been thinking about is he's having this awesome season. It seems like you want to keep that going. Do you put more on his plate now? Do you put more responsibility on him with Jokic out? It feels like you have to put a little more on his shoulders. But then again, you have to toe the line of we can't wear him down completely over this next month and a half stretch. Because when Jokic comes back and when the starting 5 is whole again, the Nuggets are only making a deep playoff run if they have something left in the tank. So it's a tough balancing act here for Denver.
I wouldn't increase his minutes, that's for sure. Organically, he's going to have more on his plate.
Yeah.
Primarily because they don't have any other ball handling initiators on their roster.
Yeah.
They don't have anybody besides Jokic and Murray. Everybody else is like they can do certain things in a very limited capacity, whether that's Aaron Gordon or Tim Hardaway Jr. or Christian Brown, whoever. All of these guys are limited in what they can do as an initiator. So that's going to be a problem for Jamal Murray. Like he's going to see more blitzes than he ever has. Mm-hmm. He's going to just naturally get more, I think, physical exertion in the course of a game. I would keep his minutes where they are and understand that may mean some nights you're tempted to play him 38, 40 minutes because of how big the separation is between him and everybody else on their roster in terms of handling the basketball. You got to resist that temptation. And because, look, he's had calf injuries. He's had some soft tissue stuff that's going on in the past. The last thing you can afford is him to run himself into the ground over the next month. So when Jokic does comes back, now you're dealing with a less effective Jamal Murray than what we've seen to this point in the year. He's going to get probably more shots, more touches, more usage, but he's also going to get a lot more attention from defenses. So who knows what happens to his efficiency with the amount of traffic he's about to see. His efficiency might come down.
Sure.
Doesn't mean he's playing worse. It just means that because of the nature of their roster, he's got a lot more to overcome with in terms of traffic. But I would not take the temptation to run this guy out there 38, 40 minutes some nights to win a game. I think that would be a mistake, particularly do it multiple times in a short period of time. They got to resist that urge and understand, yes, organically he's going to have more on his plate, and he'll probably have some big games during this time, but he's also going to have some games where he's less efficient because he's going to be carrying extra body around all over the court.
Yeah. What have just been your thoughts on Jamal's season? He's had just these unbelievable highs, the 52-point game, some just unbelievable quarters. He came into the season in the best shape that he's ever come into a season in. That's what everybody was asking for. That's what we were wanting, and he's delivered on that. It just seems like he's leveled up absolutely, and he's on track for his first All-Star appearance of his career this season. Just from watching him, what have been your thoughts on how he's started this season?
Yeah, the guy has to be an all-star this year. He's got his career highs, field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, second best year ever from the line. His second year in the league was the only year he had a higher free throw percentage, career high in assists. And he's been out there every night. That's the other key. His availability has been key. And we have always known Jamal Murray's a guy that's really good in the clutch. I mean, he always has been that, and he still is. But now, not only is he good in the clutch, he's available every night to be good in the clutch. That's been something that's been different for him. Last few years, he's dealt with chunks of time each season where he's missed time because of injuries. This year, he's been healthy all year. So, yes, I think the guy has to be an all-star. It's the best year of his career. He's already been, all-star caliber player. It's very tough to grab an all-star spot. It's so easy to say, oh, he's got to be an all-star, until you start writing names on paper. When you start writing names on paper, you realize how hard it is, and you can't just say he deserves to be in. You also have to be willing to say, no, he needs to be on, and this guy needs to get bumped for him. So that's what it comes down to. These decisions will be made here in the next few weeks. I think the guy's going to be an all-star. The team's success has lent itself to that as well. And I think people will take into consideration if they do lose some games over the next 3 weeks while these decisions are being made on the all-star game, that Jokic isn't there. So if the team's success falls off a little bit, I think people are smart enough to take that into consideration and look at the year Jamal Murray has had in its totality and while Jokic was playing.
Yeah, I certainly agree with that. It's going to be interesting to see how, the voting parses out when it actually happens, but he definitely deserves it right now. Legs, thanks so much, man. I appreciate it. We'll see what happens for the Nuggets on the rest of this road trip.
Yeah, appreciate you. Thanks for having me.